Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Smash Dispatch podcast. First of all, I want to give a quick apology for the late show. First of all, there was 1 week where we were really busy with stuff, and then when we recorded the episode this week, I was an idiot and I deleted the file by accident, but we don't talk about that, right?
It happens.
It happens, right? So, you're just mass deleting shit. You try to recover it, it's a whole mess. But here we are, we got Mr. Ultimate Shadow X with me.
Hello.
And so we're gonna kind of basically we're gonna make it a bit of a shorter one than last time because we already spent time talking about this stuff. But we will cover all the Smash news that happened, including the EVO situation, the Smash Online thing, the ARMS potential leak that I don't think is real, but who knows, and what's going on with Nintendo's plans and stuff and how that could affect Smash. So let's begin with obviously the big one, which we discussed last week, Smash Ultimate. In general, EVO becoming an online event and having 5 kind of exhibition matches with 5 different games, and then it's gonna have 4 games, which are Mortal Kombat 11. What the fuck is the game again? My friends.
Them fighting.
Why is that the title? Yeah. It's
because it's a play on them's fighting words, and they just changed it to herds.
Wow, okay, I hate myself right now. Never mind, it's a good game. And Skullgirls and Killer Instinct. So those are the only 4 open tournament games because of because they have really good netcode, right? They have good rollback netcode, and people can potentially get in there and play at a random. More people can just enter them, right? Because when you really sit down and think about it, first of all, there was a good point that when I was on Japan Time they made, right? Of Nintendo, it's never been confirmed that Nintendo is not going to be at this year's EVO Online because of the rollback, the netcode issue. I'm sure it's a big factor in it, but that's never been confirmed yet, right?
I
don't think.
Yeah, so we again. There's two. As we were saying, there are 2 possible reasons, or a combination of both, possibly, as to why Nintendo and Smash wouldn't be at an online EVO event. And basically, obviously the netcode and the game is just not built for massive online tournaments like that. Just a combination of it's just not a competitive environment. But also, if you think about how much time it would take to run all of that by opening arenas and getting the codes and blah blah blah, you know what I mean? It's not just it's not like that. And also, again, it's possible Nintendo themselves didn't want the game to be up there because we have seen. We have seen them in the past, say during their own online tournaments, they were oh, well, you may see delay in the gameplay, blah blah blah. They're trying to cover that up and sort of because they don't want to make their business. They don't want the game to look bad, basically, right? And, this is they probably very much know that a tournament that big being streamed would just not it would not look good for them. Sure. So it could also be that they just pulled out the game themselves as well. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it could be because we saw a lot of people be like, this is this might be finally the eye opener for them to fix their online, and I've said this, and a lot of people have. It's sure, it could be like a poke, just be hey, maybe you should consider this, but I think because of how big Smash Ultimate is and how separated how fragmented the audience is. Again, remember, everyone when you play a game like Street Fighter V, right? There's one rule set, right? It's 2D competitive Street Fighter V. That's it. That's your only option, right? Whereas when you're playing it, and you can play that casually or hardcore, there's kind of no in between. Whereas with Smash, you could be playing casual competitive, you could playing 3-player matches, you could do 4-player matches, 8-player matches, matches with Smash Balls on, matches with items on. It's there's so many different types of Smash players out there that the hardcore competitive scene makes a very small percentage. And again, that does not mean their voice doesn't matter. Of course they do. They're they're the ones that are the most passionate about Smash. It's just that when you look at it from the business side of how much this will cost us to invest in online versus how much that's gonna make us, maybe they don't see necessarily the value in that. Right. And again, we don't even know to what extent the dev team can even work with the online. So again, there's a very big distinction here. Nintendo themselves makes like one netcode, and then it seems to me like it's up to every developer to sort of work within those constraints. And because Sakurai has said, like, we have tried to optimize the game as much as we can for online. You know, he can only do so much with his own game that doesn't require actually like Nintendo's own services, right? Because again, like if you look at like Mario Kart, like that is like beyond perfect online. Like there's like next to no lag at all in Mario Kart. And then you compare it to Smash, and you even compare it to Splatoon, because a lot of people, you know, in the competitive Splatoon scene complain about online too, how people will drop matches, how matches will get delayed, that sort of thing. So it's very much on a game by game basis. And you know, again, it's like Nintendo, I think, you know, why would they? I feel like, again, like, you know, it might be, like, I'm trying to find the right word, but it might be a little bit like, you know, looking on the negative side of things to say, like, oh, Nintendo doesn't care because they don't have to.
Right.
And I think, I mean, maybe that is part of it. Maybe they just feel like, you know, the audience that really, really, like, is passionate about having really good online play isn't the core audience. So, you know what I mean?
I mean, especially when the game now is entering its third year of life, right? Where obviously there's more people buying the game, but there's also, like, I'm sure there's a group of people that have stopped playing or stuff like that. It's like the competitive scene is like, it gets smaller and bigger at the same time. It's like there's an influx of players that are doing different things in the game that like obviously the game sold 18 million. That doesn't mean 18 million people are actively playing, obviously. So they tell themselves, like, again, of like, is this worth now, through almost 3 years into the game's life, to fix this, as opposed to maybe like pushing a major fix to whatever, like if they make like a Switch Pro or the next Switch that ends up happening.
Yeah, I mean, and again, we don't really know, like, you know, to what extent is the actual issue with Nintendo's online, or even how it like works. Because I know a lot of people are saying like it's peer to peer, but like, if that's true, like, then why does Mario Kart just have like zero issues? Like, again, like it's a weird situation that we don't exactly know everything about, but I really do hope that in the grand scheme of things, that this EVO Online situation shows like developers of fighting games or competitive games, like, we really need rollback netcode. I mean, like, it has to be implemented.
I mean, again, like, just like to be fair here, like the other like most of the other big games don't have that much of a great like netcode, right? They're doing exhibit matches, like they're making sure it's specific players that they know have like amazing, you know, setups that have all the, it's like, even those games, they're not being open tournaments because they know that would also be a shit show. So this isn't an exclusively Nintendo issue. It's like a very, like, for hardcore fighting games, that's such a specific issue that average Joe, or even like hardcore, like for example, I fall into that category of like, even you probably, I assume, so like competitive casual. Like when I play Smash online, it's like, for the most part, I'm good. Like, obviously, there's matches where there's some lag and some spikes in there, but like for the most part, I can do what I'm trying to execute and I'm fine, right? But obviously, for like the hardcore competitive guys who need every like little frame to be accurate as possible, it's definitely like a bigger issue in that sense. So again, it's not just a Smash issue; it's all it's most of the big guys. I mean, that's why the open tournament is for games other than Mortal Kombat, which are for a niche, you know?
Yeah. Again, like it's again, the netcode's the name of the game. If the netcode is extremely optimized and using rollback and everything like that, then of course, it will work in an online setting, because you know those issues of frame drops that are so important for competitive players aren't as are not as big of a problem. You know, like, again, it is possible Nintendo sees this and does, like, you know, try to think of a way to, you know, maybe optimize the netcode. I mean, it doesn't have to always be negative. There is a possibility that Nintendo will see this and you know, maybe something will be set into motion.
Right.
You know, because, you know, they are very much aware that this is the biggest competitive scene and how big EVO is
Yeah.
for their game. So obviously, like it's free advertising. So of course, like they're gonna think about what sort of message that's sending to have it removed. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Again, like it's like I think obviously if hopefully next year there's a physical EVO event, the thing is Nintendo knows they're gonna want Smash there. Like not only just Nintendo but EVO themselves. They know that's a high attendance rate. They know that was last year the biggest sign up. That was like it's like that game is gonna be the biggest thing no matter what there, just because of how big the game is and how much more approachable it is to compete in competitive Smash as opposed to all the other fighting games. And obviously when you're already the best selling fighting game of all time, not even 3 years fully into your life, it's a powerhouse that you just kind of have to live with no matter what. And it's like that's why I get why it's upsetting for people, right? Because this is literally the biggest and like most popular and best-selling fighting game ever, that they want it because the game is so perfect, right? Like when you think of just how beautiful of a love letter it is to Smash and Nintendo's history and just gaming history in general, that there's this one aspect that people would want to just complete the package, right?
Yeah, and I think in the sense of like why why it can only be so optimized. In terms of like does Nintendo really care about the netcode? Well, here's the thing though, you have to think to a casual audience, because it appeals to so many different people. Imagine like how many people break out Smash to play like when they got friends over, when they're at a party. That's all like local multiplayer, right?
Yeah.
Like that a lot of people that when they play Smash, they're playing it with friends. They're not playing it online at all.
Exactly.
There is a very big crowd that does not even play it online. So there's also that to consider too, because most in traditional fighting games, the 1v1, the grind to get better, that's the appeal. That's what people play for. So that's why the online has to be so optimized. But in Smash, because again, we said earlier, there's not one specific rule set. You can play however you want with as many people as you want, up to 8. Like because of that and that casual audience, that they don't even like care about that stuff.
Exactly.
So
I mean, even we've seen Nintendo host tournaments where they literally do like 4-player matches or literally 1v1s with specific items on. It's like even Nintendo, when they host their own tournaments, they take advantage of what's in the game, right? Because they want to show that off. They want to make sure everybody's like, oh wow, that would be cool to try out. It's like it's such a that's right. It's like, again, Smash, we've talked about, it's such a unique case. And again, for most of the time, it's like a beautiful thing that you have so many options with Smash. But that's why a lot of the times the competitive scene is not necessarily like brushed aside, but they're like a small piece of a much bigger puzzle, right? Because Smash is a game, again, that's selling to kids, to adults, to teens, to people playing with friends locally, with online and everything. So it's such a fragmented audience that, again, of course, it's like, and again, we know Sakurai. If this was Sakurai's decision, the online would be perfect, right? It would be just as incredible as he makes everything in the game, right? But clearly, again, there's just some fundamental, not issue, but like again, even when you think of stuff like how arenas aren't like how you can't have multiple matches running in an arena, or how fucking what's that system called that we have, the points, right? Or
like the points for Elite Smash and everything like that.
Like it's like that ranking system is, I would say, like really bad. Like I just don't understand. Like no one to this day really, and I mean really, understands how that works. Because you could win a match and win 100,000 and then lose a match and lose like 500,000. So that's a weird system. But again, it's like hopefully it's a whole learning process. Again, the good thing is speaking your mind on that stuff is important, right? Because again, especially when it comes to Smash of all games, that is one of Nintendo's most we listen to what you're saying IPs, right? I mean, like Smash Ultimate, like it gave us K. Rool, it gave us Ridley, we got Inklings, we got the Richter, Simon and Richter. It's like it's all about like, hey, or Banjo, right? It's like yeah, we actually do listen and we're putting in what you want. It's not a thing of, so like even when we see, oh, Nintendo's picking the DLC or Sakurai helps them and stuff, it's like Smash is Nintendo's most, like, you can tell they specifically listen to this, and this, right?
Yeah, again, like, Sakurai is very much aware of what fans want, and even though he doesn't always, I think he does try to deliver in the best way he can, given that, well, he can't do everything because, there's third parties and he has his own rules and blah, 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 but, like, within his own constraints, he tries to deliver to what fans want. I think people really underestimate that. Even though he doesn't always give the people what they want, he is always mindful of it and will try to deliver in some capacity on it.
Exactly.
And I definitely think, he is very much aware of all the online issues, and I'm sure at some point there will be a statement made or something like that. But again, I believe, like we said earlier, he has said, like, we have tried to optimize the game as much as we can. So we'll see if it can actually go anywhere.
I mean, right now, especially, it's probably not like the easiest time to do that, right? It's probably because they have to work from home. It's probably a lot of hands on deck to be working on DLC as much as possible. That's probably the highest priority, especially if they're working with third-party devs. That must be really annoying, because in general, it's like, I also wonder, like, I would love to know, and this is a cool discussion we didn't have on the first one, of like, so ever since last episode, we had heard basically that not only, because we've heard for a while that basically there's not going to be a Nintendo Direct anytime soon, right? Like, that seems to be the continued rumor, and that Nintendo is specifically telling third parties to handle their own announcements and do their own thing, right? They're not telling them to hold back. So I wonder if this might be pushing, like, which third-party character, like, maybe we're not gonna get third-party characters in this DLC pack till, like, the end, maybe. Because, like, maybe they're like, right now it's probably easier to work with our internal characters, because right now every third party is, like, trying to adapt to working from home and all that stuff.
Yeah, it very much feels like every character announcement from now on will just be handled like what they do with Byleth, right? Like, no direct, no build-up, just tune in tomorrow, Sakurai's got a presentation. It very much seems like it's going to be something along those lines. Or because everyone's working from home, and I don't think, Sakurai's not going to have his staff or anyone to film.
Right.
It's very much possible they do what they did with Joker. How Joker just had a voiced edited trailer without Sakurai being in it at all,
Do you think also do you think they positioned the next, like, the June presentation with the ARMS character as a Smash Direct where they also announce the next character, or do you think it's fully about who the ARMS rep is?
See, now I'm very torn, because my initial, and I believe this is what both of us believe, that this was going to be part of some bigger Direct where they go into ARMS 2, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not to say, like, it's very much possible they do, like, here's everything about ARMS 2, and then they throw in the Smash stuff at the end as a surprise. But I feel like that would be, like, too much wishful thinking for not to be part of a bigger Direct. So, I honestly think that they might just do that, like, they might just have, like, just a standalone Smash announcement video.
Because, like, it's weird because, like, technically, whatever the ARMS character is going to be is still going to be an announcement, because, like, and I wonder if, now, I don't think they should do it. I don't think they could get away with it again, because not many games can do this. I wonder if they're going to do it again where they're like, the next series that's going to get represented is this, right? And in general, I don't think because you got to think realistically, right? Again, this deal, first of all, it's been, like, they have said that, like, some of the stuff is gonna be like slower because of this, but it's like, I do think, obviously, because this DLC pack is running from now to December 2021, I don't think we're gonna ever, for the rest of this pass, see another situation like Banjo and what's it called? Who was it again? It was Banjo and Hero, right? I don't think we're gonna see that, just because of how much more, like, right now, obviously, realistically, it seems like we're gonna be getting a character every 6 months, right? So I think, like, or 5 months. Like, I feel like right now we got Byleth January 28th, so we are literally getting this next character, which is crazy, 6 months later. And that doesn't mean they're all gonna take 6 months, but I mean, if you were to follow kind of like the pipeline of what now to December 2021 looks like, that's about, like, 4 to 5 months per character. Actually, yeah, it is 4 months, because, like, there's 6 more, like, there's 6 in this pass. So yeah, I think realistically, they might not announce one yet, save that for like September, right? Because like I feel like maybe because it's possible that by this point we're just gonna be waiting till a September or October direct, when Nintendo talks about their 2021 lineup by that point, because they probably by the end of this summer we will know Nintendo's rest of the lineup for the year most likely. So yeah, I do think that it's way more likely that we just get our ARMS character here. You know, they reveal who the character is, Nintendo does his presentation, and I think this time he will live drop, because last time it was meant to be a secret, so that's why they took a little longer. So I think it'll be like another live drop situation. But yeah, I think that...
Yeah, and I definitely think I would not be surprised for when the ARMS character gets revealed, if like, you know how on the Fighters Pass it says like, oh, like through 2021, 2022, like, you know what I mean? When it says through that date, I would not be at all surprised if that date got, like, pushed back because of everything going on right now. Like, I definitely think that, you know, this ARMS character will come out, and then, like you said, it's possible that they focus on other third parties first, and it doesn't change the pipeline, but we don't even know who else they would have planned after the ARMS character.
Right.
So it's possible just everything gets delayed, which I mean is totally understandable.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's I mean, obviously when you're here, and I don't know, it's so interesting now, especially with how like Nintendo did the Paper Mario thing, and again, that it's like you look at that right now on the English YouTube trailer for the game, right, from the main account has 4 million views, right, and it's probably at like, if you count probably the Japanese ones and all the other websites and social media trailers and stuff, it's probably like 6 million views worldwide and stuff. So it's like they can... And
actually, you know what? When you compare that to the amount of views on the last the Direct Mini that they did, that Direct Mini had 4.5 million,
That's
and
crazy.
The Paper Mario trailer had 4.2. Actually think about that. This could be part... I mean, obviously, it's maybe due to the virus, but also I think this could be part of a new strategy Nintendo's doing, where they're just gonna sort of announce things separately from each other, because, you know, the one thing about Directs is, like, you know, there are things that people don't care about, and... You know, obviously people like us, we're just excited to see any announcements, but a lot of people are just like, oh, I don't really care about this, I don't care about that. So announcing sort of these things individually from each other gives, you know, almost will boost like the hype about it, because it feels so much more unexpected, you know, because when there's a Direct coming, you're like, oh, well, what announcements are we going to get? But then they could just drop this stuff now, and people will be like, oh, whoa, you know, no way, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like, on one hand, I like that. On one hand, like, I would rather they do, like, a bit of a hype of, like, hey, stay tuned. I would leave, even if it was a day before, just be like, hey, stay tuned tomorrow morning for a new game announcement. I think that's actually
any sort of like, you know, stay tuned would be nice, because, like, again, like the last thing that I forget someone who said it on Twitter, but they were like, I really don't want to, like, sleep in one day, wake up, and then magically there's a new character in Smash, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, that would just be the worst if you just, like, sleep through an announcement or something. Of course,
yeah. I mean, it's like, I don't want to wake up to 10,000 notifications about, like, the Mario Remaster Collection. I want to, like, be there to see that trailer drop live and stuff. You know? So,
yeah, because, like, that's always the fun of the Direct, is, like, you're up at a certain time, you're ready for it, you're going to see some announcements, but you don't know what you're going to see. The fun is, like, experience it with other people, you know?
Exactly. And yeah, on the last thought we have about was ARMS, was that a sort of rumor from that verified, like, Smash news page, was that the next ARMS character was going to be Springman with 8 character swaps, but we kind of discussed it and thought, like, it doesn't seem real just because they have a lot of different properties. Again, it's more realistic that maybe 1 or 2 characters could be like a swap amongst each other. And again, maybe the fact that it's first party means it could be like the first one to have an Echo. That would be really cool, right? Like if it was the first character in the game to come with an Echo fighter, right?
Yeah, like, it would, like I said, like, there is Springman and there is Springtron. Like, that could be, that could very much be like an Echo, or like, but again, like, I just think that it's hard because, again, like, they're all so different, and, like, the thing is, is that it's the equivalent of like, you know, if Ryu, imagine if Ryu of Ken was just a skin for Ryu, like.
Right.
Yeah, they share some moves, but they also they're very different in terms of their animations and their attacks. Like it just wouldn't make sense. So I'm not really buying that. And also I think the whole thing of like who's gonna get into ARMS and then it's Springman, but it's like but of course it'd be Springman. Yeah. Why wouldn't they just say it's Springman? Exactly. You know, I think the whole thing of making it a big reveal it would kind of be pointless. It was just Springman. Exactly, you know,
like I'm thinking they could do something cool in the trailer where like. The ARMS characters are fighting or something, and then like the one who takes it gets it, and it's gonna be Paper Mario with his new long arms. That's your arms rep, baby.
Yeah. I was saying it'd be funny if they did if it was like a double trailer.
That'd be
where
amazing.
Like you know, all the ARMS characters are fighting, and then like the one gets revealed for Smash, and then like Paper Mario's arms come out, and then it's like Paper Mario's next.
That'd
be
amazing. Yeah, that's the Dream Come True for me. That would be sick. But yeah, so I mean, hopefully, hey, I mean, again, we're not too far off, and Nintendo actually has like a pretty packed June. They have like they got Xenoblade is like literally the last day of May. Then we got Clubhouse 51. Then we got Pokemon DLC in June, Smash DLC. So it's gonna be a packed month of stuff there. Yeah. So yeah, again, we're gonna see everything. Everything's a mystery by this point. Maybe Summer of Gaming will be able to get a trailer or two from Nintendo or something, but we will find out. So I think that pretty much covers everything in there. Again, like I said, shorter episode because we kind of did this one before and we touched on a lot of things, but we covered everything and we actually had like some different angles on stuff. So thank you all for watching this week's Smash Dispatch episode. Next week, actually, we're going to be discussing the Smash Ball. We're going to be talking about all the Smash Ball in general, how cool it is, what they can do with it, etc., etc. So that's it. That's all. Thank you all for watching, and Ultima and I will see you all next week. Peace.
Peace.